met Bob Bogle, who became my partner in the ventures. You know, we're the founding members. We decided that we were doing pretty good, and so he had pretty good credit, and I didn't. So he went out and bought a couple of Fender guitars, and so we got I think a Jazzmaster and a Stratocaster, and we started playing, and we bought an amplifier. So
the Billboard Top 100 was, well, that was the holy grail. Everybody wanted to get something on the charts. And if it wasn't the top 100, it was top 40. And that's what a lot of people referred to as the top 40, those were the hits. And that's what drove me and a lot of other people, is to try to come up with a hit song. And that's not that easy to do. It's very hard to do.
Did you have a Fender that you played?
Oh yeah. So I had a blonde Stratocaster, which back in the days of surf music was the coolest thing to have. And the sound of Fender guitars really defined surf music. Pretty much by itself, it was Fender that really made that sound. And so I was glad to have one.
From what I understand.
So the Rendezvous, moving back to the Stomp, it was a big ballroom. It would hold like 2,500, 3,000, and it was Stan Kenton. We went and played there, and it was the billboards from the big dance bands, and it had actually a wood floor that was suspended better. So you had the amplification that we worked out with Leo and the electric stuff.
Okay, Leo Fender was like a second dad to me. And when I first met Leo, I said, "Hi, my name is Dick Dale. I'm a surfer, I got no money, can you help me out?" And I'm playing in Balboa. He said, "Hey, I just made this guitar, you know," and I came out to California in '54, that's when he made the Stratocaster. He handed me the Strat, and I picked it up, and I started playing it, and he just rolled off the chair and started laughing and he never laughed. He was like Einstein, he was always focusing. He goes, "How come you're holding the guitar like that? It's upside down backwards."
They didn't play instruments, so they always needed a backup band. And since we were the most accomplished of the instrumental bands, they would hire us because we could do our show and draw in our audience, but we also could submit and be great. We loved backing other people, and the only money you made was your live shows, and Chuck Berry always still gets cash, you know, because he's been ripped off so many times. But I remember Art and Ed, our two guitar players, Chuck didn't have an amplifier. And they had these new like Fender twin reverbs, and they were a little bit worried about, we're playing so loud at the Palladium that it might blow up the speakers. So upstairs at the Hollywood Palladium, Leo Fender had a booth, and they went up and borrowed the first new Fender Showman amp.
So 85 watts, peaking 100 watts with 5881 tubes. Then we had to have a speaker that would handle it. So we went to JBL. And we told him we wanted a 15-inch speaker with around a 10, 11-pound magnet in the back, and I wanted the aluminum dust cover in the middle so I could hear the click of my pick. So it became the JBL 15-inch D130. And then Leo, once I put it in there, he called it the Showman. And of course, the color of the amplifier was by accident because I had blown up so many. I needed one that night. He didn't have anything to cover it with, and he grabbed some cream Tolex and covered it so I could have something.
Which is basically the granddaddy of all stack amplifiers. There was the Bassman and the Bandmaster, and then the Showman was the big one that sort of Eddie Bertrand had worked out with Leo and stuff. And Dick Dale had one too, you know, it's like, so when we brought it down, and I have photographs of it taken up by Chuck Boyd, who did KRLA Beat magazine and then Teen Beat magazine. He's long since passed away, but I found his estate and I found these old photos, and there's the Palladium setup, and there's the twin reverbs and my Bassman and the drummer, and then there's a Showman set right next to the riser. And when Chuck plugged his guitar into it and heard how it sounded, he turned around and went, blew it a kiss. And to this day, Chuck Berry, on his contract rider, if he performs, the promoter must provide a Fender Showman amp. So he'd never heard his guitar sound that good, and he's never found anything that sounded better. And it's one of those Forrest Gump moments where you go, life is like a box of chocolates.